ECSI fans, you want to revolutionize your sports investing habits? Allow me to tell you about WagerWire. WagerWire is an app that helps you become a superior bettor by allowing you to sync all your sports books and track all your bets in one place. See your current action, your betting history, and stats. You could also sign up for sports books and collect bonus offers. Follow them at WagerWire on X, as it's the best account on the platform. Head to App Store or Play Store now and search WagerWire and download the app.
What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of Dynamics on the Hardwood. Yes, it does look a little bare up here. It is just me today. I'm flying solo as Darren and CJ had some other things to attend to. All is well. Nothing serious is going on, but they had other things to attend to, and so I am flying solo today. But today there's a lot to talk about with the NBA draft. I will be going over my favorite pick in the NBA draft, winners and losers. We'll be going over the most recent news in NBA free agency, and that is Devin Booker. So we're going to get right down into it. And actually, if you guys have any comments, please put it down in the comment section below and let me know what you think of your favorite pick in the NBA draft. But we're going to start off. My favorite pick was number 20 for the Miami Heat, Kasparas Jokic, or Jokuchonis. He went number 20 to the Miami Heat. To me, this guy is, I think this guy is was a top 10 pick in the NBA draft. I really do think that. And he went at number 20. He fell all the way down to number 20. The Miami Heat got a player that fills a roster void, and he also fits their culture and their style of play pretty well. Yakuchonis is 6'6", 205 pounds, can handle the ball very well, has great ball handling skills and playmaking ability. And he offers some much needed shot creation in the backcourt for the Miami Heat. That's something that they really struggled with, especially last year, especially after the Jimmy Butler trade. They really didn't have a go-to player for shot creation outside of Tyler Hero. But you know, he's big enough to operate off ball as well alongside Tyler Hero. Yakuchonis, I mean, if you guys haven't seen it, please go look up this guy's tape, man. This guy's tape is great. Out of the University of Illinois. This guy is beyond what you could think. I thought this guy was a top 10 pick, and to watch him fall all the way down to 20 was really mind-blowing for me. Number one. Number two is he kind of showed off some of his ability today. If I know summer league games are hard for us to all watch because they happen in the early afternoon, and most of us are working on the weekdays. And Yakuchonis had 24 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 5 of 9 from the three, was 5 of 5 from the free throw line. He had a great performance today in the loss to the Atlanta Hawks today, but. My favorite pick of the draft by far is Yakuchonis at number 20. Now, when we look, other things we're going to talk about here is we're going to talk about the pick that wasn't on my bingo card personally, and that was the number 5 pick, the Utah Jazz picking Ace Bailey. That was something I was not expecting, because Ace Bailey, obviously, we all know there was a little bit of drama with his preferred destinations and where he wanted to go. People were questioning Washington if that was the place to go. Bailey's agent, wasn't expecting this as well either. But he didn't. If I remember correctly, he didn't report to camp, and it wasn't surprising to see this situation. Resolve, but Bailey, kind of the look on his face, you could kind of tell was like, okay, Utah's not a place I thought I would go. But I think Bailey's lack of leverage, I should say, in this situation because of the NBA's collective bargaining agreement and public relations backlash. It pretty much guaranteed this move. Let's just be honest here. And um, hopefully, when Bailey arrives in Utah, he'll see it. I mean, he's already arrived in Utah. We've seen some of his summer league games. He's played pretty well. Um, he's actually landed in a better situation than expected. Obviously, we know that Utah got rid of Colin Sexton, and Jordan Clarkson's not there either. So now you got to fill someone at that guard position. And I mean, there's other things that Utah's got to look towards as well. There's a lot left in the offseason, but they lack star power, and Ace Bailey has potential to be star power. Um, and there's Utah has an up and coming coaching staff. I wouldn't say that they have the greatest coaching staff in the world, but it's a trend in the right direction for them, and they have a very passionate fan base. And we'll see how quickly he realizes how fortunate of a situation he is. We're talking about Walker Kessler, Lowry Markkinen. We're talking about all these guys that are, Isaiah Collier. A lot of people talk about Isaiah Collier, and we saw some of the glimpses of what Isaiah Collier does on a game-to-game basis, as we saw Collier with his assists and stuff like that. So Ace Bailey, I think, is going to be very complimentary, and he could bring that star level player, that star franchise cornerstone player that the Utah Jazz desperately need in order. And they competed well last year. I'm not going to say they didn't compete, but they competed well, but they just had too much of a roller coaster season. And hopefully Ace Bailey will help with the consistency on a night-to-night basis, on a game-to-game basis. But he's a rookie. We'll see what happens with Ace Bailey, but that was the pick that I was not expecting, was Ace Bailey going to Utah. But now we get to the deeper stuff, which is our winners and losers. For me, winners, the San Antonio Spurs. There's no doubt in my mind the San Antonio Spurs are winners here. They did what they were supposed to do in this NBA draft. They added an elite player in Dylan Harper, and they also added, Dylan Harper, has all-star potential. And they added Carter Bryant at the 14th pick, and who has potential to be a great 3-and-D player. So San Antonio, you got to tip their cap to them. And this is what they've been doing since the draft pick of Tim Duncan. We've seen this the last 25 years with the San Antonio Spurs. They know what they're doing in the front office, and it has led to championships. It's led to that dynasty. And, you got Wembanyama, you got Fox, and now you're adding pieces around Wembanyama and Fox, and you can't forget Vassell. You can't, so there's so many cornerstone pieces there. They got a great young core, and they're on the up and coming. Look out. San Antonio is coming, people. Don't be shocked if we see San Antonio in the top 6 in the Western Conference at some point in time this year, barring that they all stay healthy. That's a tough one. Another winner, in my opinion, is the Atlanta Hawks. The Atlanta Hawks, first off, it has nothing to do with the NBA draft, but it has to do with their offseason moves. They got Porzingis and a second-round pick for the Celtics, and only gave up Georges Niang and a 22nd overall pick and a 22nd pick in a 3-team deal. So first off, kudos to Atlanta Hawks. They're trying to upgrade their team and get into contention in the Eastern Conference. The other thing with them is they traded the 13th overall pick to the Pelicans, which I'll talk about the Pelicans in a couple minutes here. But they traded the 13th pick to the Pelicans for a 2026 unprotected first-round pick, plus the 23rd overall pick to select Asa Noel. And so, to me, that was a heads-up move by the Atlanta Hawks to trade away one pick and get 2 picks for the price of one. And on top of that, the 2026 first-round pick will either be I think it will be the best of either Milwaukee or New Orleans' own pick, if I remember correctly. So this has potential to be a top 5 pick because Milwaukee, that's a whole nother situation with Damian Lillard and waiving him, and they're trying to keep Giannis Antetokounmpo. If Milwaukee goes kaput and Giannis moves elsewhere, like I said, this could be a top 5 overall pick. And New Orleans, New Orleans, DeJounte Murray, Zion Williamson, they have great pieces as well. But I don't see the Pelicans making the NBA playoffs or even being a top 16 in that Western Conference. It's just too loaded in the Western Conference, and we all know that. One. Two is they're more of a play-in team. I would think the Pelicans are more of a play-in team. I could see them sneaking in as the 9 or the 10 seed next year. Once again, health is a big thing because Zion Williamson, for some reason, always finds a way to get hurt, and he's out almost half the season every year. And so health is going to be a big thing. DeJounte Murray's recovering from the torn Achilles, the ruptured Achilles. So there's a lot on the up and coming for the Pelicans. I think they're going in the right direction, but I'll get to the Pelicans in just a second here. To me, the ultimate winner of the night for me in the NBA draft was college basketball. College basketball's back, baby. And it's not going anywhere anytime soon. After the top 2 picks in the 2024 draft, which was Ricochet and Alexander Sarr. These are international players. Ricochet is from France. Alexander Sarr is from Australia. There were 0 non-collegiate international players selected in the top 10 in this year's draft, in 2025's draft. There were 0 international non-collegiate players. That's insane. And only 6 international players were chosen in the first round. And so this is historically low. I don't know the exact year, but this is an historic low year for international non-collegiate players being drafted. And so this could decrease even further in the years to come. And we know the whole thing with college basketball and NIL money and stuff like that. And there was that big conversation with Cooper Flag. Should he go into the NBA draft? Should he sit and go for a sophomore year and stay at Duke, where he's projected to make something? It was something north of $10 million in NIL money this upcoming collegiate basketball season if he stayed at Duke. But there's a huge appeal for the NIL related paydays now in college. It has led to many players to remain in school and has attracted more international players to the U.S. Similar to what we see with Jaco Jonas. Jaco Jonas is a perfect example of this. Out of Lithuania, comes to the States, plays at the University of Illinois, and now is drafted and is going to the Miami Heat. And so we will see. Time is going to only tell if revenue sharing restrictions from the house settlement reduces the high NIL salaries. That's something that we should keep in the back of our minds. But I'm telling you right now, the traditional European path to get to the NBA, which is playing like what Luka Doncic did, playing professionally from the age of 13 and playing at Real Madrid and getting noticed, and then going into the NBA draft after developing enough, after the age of 18, developing enough and getting drafted into the NBA. But I think international players are going to take a different route. Now they're going to start seeing this. They see this NIL money, and they're going to be attracted to go to college. And I think that's a great thing coming up for college basketball. So college basketball is on the up and coming, people. It's not going away. Like I said, it's not going away anytime soon with the NIL stuff going on. We could see a massive influx in international players playing in college basketball, and then these guys will be able to showcase their talents on the national stage in the NCAA tournament. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens in college basketball in the next and up and coming years. Now we get to my favorite part. We have to talk about the losers in the NBA draft. First off, we got to start off with Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets are clearly a loser in the NBA draft. Get used to seeing this with the Denver Nuggets. They don't control they they don't control any future second round picks until 2032. Any future second round picks, they don't have any control of until 2032, which is something that they got during the draft. After the draft concluded, they made a trade and got a 2032 second round pick. So the Denver Nuggets have no second round picks. And honestly, second round, people kind of sleep on the second rounders. There's a lot of hidden gems in the second round. And I'll give you a perfect example. Boston Celtics out of Washington, Isaiah Thomas. Number 4, Isaiah Thomas, IT. He's a perfect example of a second rounder going late, a deep second rounder, and being third in the MVP voting one year, almost leading the NBA in scoring. He was fifth in scoring. He was second in fourth quarter scoring. So there are hidden gems in the second round, and to think that the the Denver Nuggets have nothing until 2032 is nuts. So, and the other thing is too, they only own a pair of protected first round picks, but that doesn't start until 2027. So next year you're going to see the same scenario with the Denver Nuggets here. Now, my ultimate loser, the ultimate loser in the NBA draft this year is the New Orleans Pelicans. And I kind of touched upon them, with the pick, with them trading, with Atlanta trading their 13th overall pick to the Pelicans to get two more picks. So the Pelicans are clearly a loser in this. To me, they're my loser of the draft by far. They paid the ultimate price to get that 13 overall pick, in which they drafted Derek Queen out of Maryland. And now New Orleans has a new president of basketball operations. The name might sound familiar to some of you guys, some of you old school heads out there. Joe Dumars, a member of tenacious defensive member and shooting guard of the Bad Boys in the 80s there. He is the new president of basketball operations. And like I said, they traded away their 23rd pick and their unprotected first round pick in 2026 to land Derek Queen at the 13th pick, along with the swap rights with the Bucks. It's like, just to confuse things even more for some of you guys who are just trying to get the basic logistics of this. So for me, they paid the ultimate price in trading away not one, but 2 picks, and one of them's an unprotected first round pick, which could potentially be a top 5 pick. Like I said earlier with the Atlanta Hawks, that's why I think they're a winner, because they gained that and they only traded 10 spots down to get their guy in Asa Noel. Enough said. The other thing is when we look to Joe Dumars in this decision making, I'm all for a guy believing in himself. Like, do not get me wrong. The team, he's not just believing in himself, but he's believing in the team next year. This trade, unfortunately, is also betting on Milwaukee to not have great lottery odds next year. But with Lillard out / waived by the Bucks, they signed Miles Turner, which we'll get to. That's another topic for another day. And there's potential that Giannis might leave. You're betting that Milwaukee's not going to have great lottery odds. I think if Giannis leaves, Milwaukee's going to be in the draft lottery next year in 2026. There's no doubt in my mind about that. If, there's all this stuff swirling, there's like this dark cloud hanging over Milwaukee right now because everyone needs to know. But Giannis is trying to wait things out and try to figure out what he's going to do depending on what Milwaukee does. But to take a gamble on that, I'm all for you having confidence in yourself and the team next year. But to gamble that Milwaukee might not be a lottery pick next year, and they've already waived Damian Lillard, who's got the Achilles tear, and Giannis might leave depending on if Milwaukee doesn't. With those two questions in mind, with those those two questions there, those two question marks, I could see Milwaukee being in the draft lottery next year. No doubt in my mind about that. Now the other thing is, I have nothing against Derek Queen. I think Derek Queen was a great target. I think he's a good player. Um, but with the pick, he has some defensive concerns. And he does have a lack of outside shooting. And we know that in today's NBA. We're seeing that where big men are constantly shooting the ball like crazy in today's NBA. And so, because of his lack of outside shooting and his defense is not the greatest, this makes him redundant with Zion Williamson. This pick makes no sense because there's no compatibility with Zion Williamson. And so let's just say it's impossible to deny Dumars and the Pelicans overpaying for that 13th overall pick. So a huge price to pay there. But in the comment section, let me know what you guys think of the NBA draft and who are your winners and losers if you guys pay attention to that stuff. But let me know what your winners and losers are. With that being said, we're going to go into a quick break here. We got a quick ad from Atlanta Steaks and Seafood. So stay tuned, as always.
Welcome to Good Food. At Atlanta Steaks and Seafood, you'll find the highest quality meats from a variety of delicious cuts, tomahawks, salmon fillets, ribeyes, and plenty more to choose from. With an easy-to-use mobile-friendly website, selecting your pick of meat is made quick and easy. And don't forget, worrying about your dinner is a thing of the past. Check out some of the amazing subscription packages that Atlanta Steaks and Seafood has to offer. From fresh steak and seafood straight to your door. Order online at atlantasteaksandseafood.com.
And that was our sponsor, Atlanta Steaks and Seafood. Go check them out. From what CJ has told me time and time again, he thinks they're better than Omaha Steaks. So go check out Terry Smith on Facebook. Go give him a shout out, and then go to Atlanta Steaks and Seafood's website. They got it all. They even have subscription plans. Set it and forget it. You get your protein for the month. And Atlanta Steaks and Seafood. But we're going to head into our last segment of the night. This is a very quick show here. Our last segment of the night is, as you see there, Mr. Big Bucks. Is it worth it? We got to talk about Devin Booker and the recent contract extension that he just signed. 2-year, $145 million. Now, I will say a question. I will give a little asterisk on the $145 million because that number is not fully that's not the fully guaranteed number, or the full price tag. But from what it sounds like, 2-year, $145 million, putting him at $72.5 million. This what he's going to get paid. This is for the 29 and the 2030 season. He has a 3-year extension that brings him to the 26, 27, and 28 season. This 2-year extension on top of that not only makes him this is the highest paid extension, contract extension in NBA history at $72.5 million a year. Number one. So, and I don't know if some of these NBA franchises make me laugh sometimes because I don't know if they're trying to one-up each other. We just saw the Oklahoma City Thunder sign Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to the 4-year, $285 million deal at $71.25 million per year. And so they saw that and were like, Devin Booker. But I'm going to get into some very deep statistical stuff here with Devin Booker. To have the highest annual contract extension, and you've priced him above the MVP, the current and reigning MVP, at Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, I have a massive issue. And obviously, the question is, like it says there on the screen, was it worth it? The other question you could ask is, did the Phoenix Suns overpay? And clearly, my answer is yes. In this case and scenario, you're putting him at the highest paid level, in the highest paid top of the market level. and he's not even in the MVP conversation. One, two, he's a fringe all NBA player, so that means he's a fringe top 15 player in the NBA, and we'll get into that. Now, for starters, the Suns now have Devin Booker on the books for 5 years, for the next 5 seasons, and over $316 million on the books. Now, good stuff for Devin Booker is this. This is the case for Devin Booker, and then I'm going to go the complete opposite way on this. Booker has averaged at least 25 points a game over the last 7 seasons. There's only one other player in NBA right now that has done that, and that's Giannis Antetokounmpo. Those two guys are the only two guys to average 25 points a game in each of the last 7 seasons. Now, Devin Booker, the one thing I have loved about Devin Booker the last couple of seasons is his assist numbers have skyrocketed. He averages 6.9, 6.8, 6.9 assists a game in the 24 season. He averaged 7.1, a career high 7.1 assists a game in the 25 season, in this past season. So I love the assist numbers going up. He's trying to get others involved. Yes, you had Kevin Durant. Yes, you had Bradley Beal. Yes, you had, you get Nick Richards. You got all Colin Gillespie, Grayson Allen, Royce O'Neal, Tyus Jones. Like they had I would say a subpar team last year. Let me just be real. And so now, like I said, you're paying him top dollar and he's a fringe all NBA player. Now we're going to get into the nitty gritty stuff here. But like I said, I love Booker as a 3-level scorer. We know how well this guy can shoot. He can play off ball. He gets others involved. Love it. But Booker has been in the league 10 seasons. Let me that set in for you guys. 10 years Booker's been in the NBA. Like, it felt like just yesterday he was a rookie and he put up 71 on the Boston Celtics in the Garden. So it's like he's already been in the league 10 years. He's averaged 24.4 points per game throughout those 10 seasons in his career. He is a 4-time All-Star. And the biggest one I have, we're talking about all NBA selections and this is a fringe all NBA player. He only has 2 all NBA selections in 10 seasons. And this guy is averaging 25 plus over the last 7 years, each of the last 7 years. And he's only been all NBA twice. So we're going to get into it. He got a first all NBA selection in 2022. And then he had a 3rd team all NBA selection in 24. The selection in 2024, here's the backstory of the 2024 one. He was the 7th guard picked in that process. He was the 7th guard picked, let alone he was the last player picked in that all-NBA and those all-NBA team selections. 7 guards. Now, let me give you some background and some context here. Because the NBA has constantly changed. There's like no such thing as positions anymore in the NBA. So the NBA went to a positionless all-NBA format. That's why he was the 7th guard picked out of the all-NBA teams. If this was the old school format, he was not picked. If you're 7th, you only have 3 all-team select. Only have 3 all-NBA team selections, so 15 players. You have point guard, shooting guard for all 3. That's only 6 positions. That's only 6 places. And if he's 7th, he's off the list. Boom. See ya. Bye. Conversation over, right? So obviously any other prior year, he's cut. On top of him being the final player chosen, what made him get chosen was the NBA's new rule of the 65-game minimum. We know about this with the individual awards, MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year, etc. Right? So 65-game minimum, he was one of the only other players to be on that 65-game minimum. Now, notable players that missed the cut that year, Joel Embiid. I got a whole story about Joel Embiid. We don't have the time to go off in that rabbit trail because Joel Embiid, he knows better. Donovan Mitchell. We know how good Donovan Mitchell is. Trae Young, and Kyrie Irving. Those are the four guys. Those are the notable players that missed that 65-game minimum cut in 2024. So, 2 All-NBA selections is also the same number of selections as Julius Randle. Julius Randle just signed a 3-year, $100 million contract extension with the Minnesota Timberwolves. $33 million a year. Devin Booker is getting paid twice as much. Even if you take the 5-year, $316 million, and you divide that by those 5 years, it's $60 million. He's getting paid double the amount of Julius Randle, and he's been selected to the All-NBA team as many times as Julius Randle. You guys get where I'm going with this? Phoenix has clearly overpaid. Phoenix is clearly overpaid, man. And it's crazy. I'm trying to understand this. So, and the other thing is this. Booker's advanced metrics in the NBA are not impressive. And I'm going to point out 2 specific metrics. We're talking box plus minus. So when he's on the floor, his plus minus. And we're talking his win shares per 48 minutes. Devin Booker ranks 80th and 90th in those categories. He has not once ever been in the top 15 in those categories in his career. For starters, 1. For 2, if that's too much, if you're trying to understand other things, let's go to a basic statistic for you. Points per game. Devin Booker has never been in the top 5 in scoring in his career. He's averaged 25 points a game. He's in the top 10, top 15 in scoring every year. He's never been in the top 5 in the NBA in scoring. Never. And so, you get where I'm going with this? We've paid him all up here. I might as well put my hand up here. He's way up in the clouds. You can't see him. And his play level is here. Down with the commoners. Okay? Now, he is an above average scorer. He is an elite scorer. Let me say that. I won't say above average. He is an elite scorer. So that's my thought there. But, you know, you have one of the highest paid guards in the association. And honestly, you have to be that good offensively to be paid like that. And here's some other metrics for you. His career best true shooting season is 61.8%. It's a shade below Curry, and it's a shade above James Harden's career best at 60.8%. Now, when we talk about scoring, Curry and Harden, like, those 2 guys are the standard when it comes to scoring. These guys can score in many ways. Same with Devin Booker, elite scorer, but he's not, like, he's in the same metrics in terms of that statistic there with his true shooting percentage. Now, the other thing is here, Devin Booker is just 28 years old. Like I said, he's been in the league 10 years. One and done player out of Kentucky, comes into the league. And I don't mind him. Like, I'm all for a guy getting his bag. I think we're all on the same page here. I think we all don't mind Devin Booker getting his bag. But at the same time, though, here's something else you got to think about is the salary cap. Like $72.5 million. If that was on this year's salary cap, oh, dude, there's no way. Like, now you have just signed a guy with another untradeable contract. There's another player I can think of on that list. And he's actually on the same team. Bradley Beal, who they've been trying to dump for the last I would say the better part of the last half a year. They've been trying to dump Bradley Beal. Problem is, he's got that no trade clause. And even if Bradley Beal was to waive that no trade clause, no one's going to want to take him. No one wants to pay that hefty price of $45, $50 plus million on your salary cap. And I'm not saying Bradley Beal is not a good player. This guy once led the league in scoring. He has one scoring title where he averaged over 32 a game with the Washington Wizards. And I'm not saying, like, he's not a bad player. He's a good player. He averaged 17 points a game last year, was pretty efficient scoring the basketball. But he was on a roster that he wasn't compatible with. So that's the other problem is Phoenix is trying to buy their way into contention. And to me, Devin Booker is your guy. And I appreciate a guy signing and trying to stay and be loyal, like a Giannis. I think Giannis is trying to do that same thing with Milwaukee. He wants to stay. Unless they force his hand to leave because what they did wasn't good enough. And so, like I said, I'm all for the bag. I'm all for this stuff. I'm all for these things. But to pay this guy $72.5 million a year, now granted, that doesn't hit until the 2029 and the 2030 season. Those 2 years is when that hits. He is 28 years old, and he has his whole prime ahead of him. He has, the better half of his prime left. And so he's got a lot of time to prove that he's worth the price of the admission in that contract. Because to get paid higher than Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the MVP, and the current reigning MVP, to get paid higher than Jokic, Giannis, I mean, I'll throw Jason Tatum in there because at least Jason Tatum is in the MVP conversation some years. At least the last 2 or 3 years, he's been in that conversation. Devin Booker has not been once in that conversation as an MVP, as being an MVP candidate. So, or let alone even being a top 15 player and an all NBA player. So to pay him that kind of money for that, I hate to say it, Phoenix, you know better. You overpaid for this guy. And now it's going to be like a fire sale to try and mix and match not just the right players and make sure, because like, let me give you this. The NBA salary cap for next year is $154 million. The tax level is $187.9 million. First apron level is $195 million. And then the second apron level, which is obviously, we saw that with the Boston Celtics, $207.8 million. Obviously, Celtics were way over that number with all the contracts going on. So imagine if he was getting paid $72 million, $72.5 million right now. Devin Booker is taking half of the salary cap, people. Half of the salary cap. Yeah, now if you go to the tax level and the first apron, we're talking a third. You're still taking up a third of the cap, and you're going to get at least 25 points a game. You're going to get at least 5 or 6 assists a game out of Devin Booker. You're not going to be in contention for an NBA championship. They're nowhere near close, not with that roster constructed right now. And the Phoenix Suns front office has to get it together and get going, or else you're going to waste Devin Booker's prime years to ultimately get. I mean, we know the Western Conference. It is a difficult, very, very difficult conference. Denver is up there, Oklahoma City, Houston, San Antonio, Nico Harrison in Dallas. Like, that's just 5 teams. You're gonna, like, Phoenix is not even the 10th best team in that conference right now with that roster constructed. And you just lost Kevin Durant. And you have 2 now unmovable contracts. So Phoenix has got a lot of work to do. Now, granted, they have some nice pieces around Devin Booker. But to me, does Devin Booker elevate the play of everyone else around him? That's another question you got to ask yourself in this scenario. But only time's going to tell. And I hope Devin Booker gets to that status where he's able to be a perennial all NBA player, top 15 player. I hope I see that, because you start to get paid like it, you better start proving it. And so I hope I eat crow on this, and I hope because I like Devin Booker. I think he's a good player. I think he's a great player. Elite 3-level scorer. I think he's great. But to get this contract at this time and to only have 2 All-NBA selections and not prove that you are worth that kind of money, well, you got that bag coming soon, Now you got to go in the gym and work. But with that being said, you guys, thank you guys so much for your time. If you guys haven't already, please leave a like and a subscribe to the channel. A lot of things are coming up. We got some more episodes coming up for you. A lot of off-season moves. Stay tuned for those episodes from us here at Dynamics on the Hardwood. You can find me. You see our socials are scrolling down at the ticker below, but follow me at Deportes Diesel. Deportes is Spanish for sports. Deportes Diesel on X. I send out daily NBA, WNBA, and MLB plays right now. Obviously, when the NBA season comes around, I will be sending out those plays as well. But yeah, please give me a follow. I appreciate the love and support. And so outside of that, as always, stay tuned, you guys, and we will see you in the next one. Deuces.